Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Contemporary Comrades podcast. It's been about a little over a month, maybe, since we had our last podcast, or almost about a month. I'm Corn.
Hey, everybody. Adam here.
It's your boy Big J in the building, as usual. I want to start by saying, before you go in, Corn, it has not been done. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, it wasn't been 2 weeks.
Let's be honest.
It's been longer than that, because December 18th was our last podcast.
That's not.
And it's January.
It's January 7th, bro.
It's literally like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it's been 3 weeks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead, man.
I'll treat you like a wife. You're right. I'm wrong.
we are right. So so you could be the wife, or whatever way that works.
How was everyone's break?
Shit. Well, I got sick. I saw Jaron, and he can vouch for that. My voice sounded terrible.
Yeah, he got sick, and then he got me sick, and I'm just now getting to where I'm getting over what he gave me.
Same here, bro. It took me forever.
But other than that, I didn't really have much of a break. I had a total of 4 days off. So, well, no, 3.5 days off. So
yeah, I only had 3 days off in the past 3 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that paycheck on Friday.
Absolutely. I had the break. I went back to Virginia and saw the family and bros and stuff. And it was fun except for the getting sick part. I was sick about 7 days out of my 10. But it was great seeing everybody again, especially, the boys. So, yeah, I mean, back to the old grind now,
Yeah, back to, for y'all, I got the next. So I just started school today, today. So a lot of fucking homework for that already. And but at least I Tuesdays and Thursdays off from school, so that's good. I don't have to Friday, so I am.
Sorry, man, you're breaking a little bit.
Say it again, bro.
I'm sorry. By the way, viewers again, internet still bad as usual. So if I go out, it's not my fault. I go back to work Friday, so yeah.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
But anyways, let's get this thing started. I want to start off because I have something to say about this. All right, so the topic today is about Hollywood and the control it has.
I was going to say Corn's leading the show this time, so he'll be doing most of the talking.
I wouldn't say most of the talking, but
we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
That I picked. I do want to start off because in 2019, I want things to be different in terms of Hollywood. I want people to stop getting canceled. I want shows to stop getting canceled. I want people to stop trying to dig up the past of every celebrity that they don't like or that they don't want to watch or they don't want to see on TV or in movies. I'm tired of this shit. I am. And I'm tired of seeing people getting ridiculed for shit that they said 10 years ago, 5 years ago. People mature.
Yeah.
And that's a part of being a human is you start out immature and you become mature. Now, some people are more mature than others. If you dig up everyone's very first Facebook post or very first tweets or whatever, you're not going to find maturity. Especially when it first. And now Hollywood in general, like just being famous, being successful in general, is stupid. Like it's becoming where Hollywood's trying to make people robots. And now it's reflecting us as people because now the people that we look up to are robots. They're told what to say, they're told how to act, and they can't naturally be themselves. Now I'm not saying make fun of people and stuff like that.
Hold on. Can I cut you off real quick? I want to pose a question. Should we even be looking up to celebrities?
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Some of them, yeah.
Some are good.
Yeah.
some have good messages to send across, a wide audience and stuff. But I feel like the most popular ones, like, well, let's look at an example from. I don't know how many years it was now, but it's in like the 2010s, the Kardashians. When they started blowing up. You guys, what do you know about them per se? Like how much info?
About the Kardashians?
Like when they blew up, when did they actually start getting popular?
I think. Well,
I want to say like
wasn't Kim the first
2000s. Yeah, the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, because her dad was the lawyer or the defendant of OJ back in the day.
Yeah, that was in the 90s. But yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so I didn't even know that. I never studied them. That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, they've always had money, but yeah, they weren't really necessarily famous until Kim and that sex stint came out and all that shit.
Yeah.
Why'd you bring up? Why'd you bring up?
What's up?
Why'd you bring up the Kardashians, anyways?
Well, if we're going on celebrities in Hollywood, I feel like they had a humongous reach, especially to females. They kind of became a very bad role model, and well, I mean, it really depends on how you look at it because they are successful, but it kind of reinforced what the whole just have to be attractive and do nothing to get famous sort of trope, and that kind of just carried, and especially with their show got going. When did that happen? What year was that?
We'd have to look it up, but I want to argue the fact that they do nothing. I think they do a lot. It's nothing positive, but they do a lot.
They do a lot, yes.
Well,
I mean, aside from now they're all kind of older, and I guess they kind of, I don't know. To me, I call Hollywood for a lot of different reasons, and I can't even scratch the surface in whatever hour and change this podcast on.
Right.
But you have to do certain things to reach a certain amount of fame in Hollywood. Let's put it that way. And this has been nothing new, and it hasn't changed. And this just so happens that now the set of things is a little bit different because they want the general population's mindset to go a certain way. But as far as the Kardashians doing nothing, I think they do a lot. I think they promote promiscuity. They promote interracial relationships. Not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying what they're doing.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
They promote like hoe culture, like dot culture, like all that. You know what I'm saying? All that. Like they were like they laid the foundation for these Instagram thoughts nowadays.
I know. I'm saying that was something that is very impactful, but I'm not saying that's a good thing. Like they were the poster girls for that. I feel like
it's mostly Kim. She was the first one, and then it just kind of went on. And, Hollywood is just full of drama. So you have to have breakups, multiple crazy relationships,
plastic surgery,
single motherhood. You know what I'm saying? All this kind of degrading the society shit that people follow, and it is spread, and you can see it plain as fucking day.
Fake asses, fake tits, fake face.
Yep. Nothing real on the chick.
I remember just seeing countless relationship, like who's in a new relationship. I saw Michael Douglas was like every single magazine I saw, he was there with Catherine Zeta, and like I always said, Michael Douglas close to death, but he never died. And there was other ones that just Jennifer Aniston having a different husband like every other year. Just stuff that only matters because these people are famous and are role models, per se.
Yeah, I mean this is true. And at the same time, but to say that, to ask the question like, should we be looking up to them? Not all of them. We shouldn't be looking up to all role models, but there are people too, and some of them were normal people just like us, and made it big. That's why I look at some of them as role models. Oh yeah, especially you want to be in, or you don't want to be in. Like, if they're role models, right? Okay.
You broke up a little bit there, man. If you don't mind repeating a little bit of that.
I'll be right back.
All right, bro. Well, we'll take over for now. So, when he goes over with role models, like, it kind of depends on what kind of celebrity you're looking at. Now, Hollywood is not something I really follow. If I want to look at role models, I kind of look for kind of the smaller up and upcomers. Like, I'm into comic books. I'm trying to make my own franchise. Like, say I go to Comic-Cons and there's somebody there who's made an impact in the animation industry or in the writing or drawing industry. Like, Jaron, I don't know if you remember the old Justice League cartoon, but I actually met...
Vaguely, back in the day.
Yeah, I met the voice actor for Batman, Kevin Conroy, who's been doing like a lot of the voice work for Batman for like years, like 20 plus years, and that was awesome to me because he feels kind of like, to me, the way some of these big shot celebrities might feel to the general population, and that's the kind of stuff that impacts me. You know, somebody who just went out and made maybe not a huge dent, but one that, you know, puts them in a certain niche that, you know, carries weight in a certain community. Like that's the kind of stuff that hits me.
I understand that, but I think it also affects you whether you know it or not. For instance, I mean, you're a DC and Marvel fan. As those have gotten more and more mainstream, look what they're doing with the franchises. For example, they're pushing a certain agenda to the you know, a lot of people through those, you know, beloved franchises with a lot of good. They had a lot of good messages back in the day. They still do have good messages. Don't get me wrong.
True.
But you know, they're switching up characters now to push, you know, continue to push the feminism agenda. They've got, you know, they're replacing men with women. They're replacing white dudes with black dudes.
Yeah,
like
a lot of
not
that.
saying that that's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you know, being a black guy, you know, it doesn't. I don't feel a certain type of way seeing a main character that was white turn black. Like to me, that doesn't prove equality. To me, that just is like, oh, okay, well, since, you know, here you go, we'll give you these characters now, make you feel better about yourself. But through day-to-day activities, not shit has changed. Being a black man.
See, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, but that kind of stuff actually does piss me off. I feel like it's just catering to changing
that's what I
something.
just said.
Okay, well, my bad, I misunderstood. I feel like it's just catering to changing something for the sake of changing it, because like these characters have existed for decades, and obviously people want the character to be represented the way the character looks in the books or in whatever media they're from. Like even if it's just a novel cover, you know, and changing it, it gives you nothing. It's stupid. Like I feel like, why don't you just make up a new character instead of changing the race or the gender of someone just to fit the you know, the time frame we live in, you know?
Yeah. But nowadays it's hard to find a what do you call it, an untainted media outlet that you can really push that true creativity in anymore. Which, you know, that goes back to other podcasts, but
yeah, we talk about that a lot.
But Hollywood it has a purpose to me, and it's not a good purpose. I would say the purpose is to continue to push, you know, a majority of people to I guess some sort of breaking point, wherever that breaking point may be. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, spiritually, culturally, you know, worldly, physically. You know what I mean? It could be anything, any of those things.
Yeah. Very good point, man. Well, you know the way I feel about, you know, the comic industry and stuff. And here's another one. So we take a look at big celebrities. That's one side of the spectrum. Then take a look at bad celebrities, and by that I mean like these people that get famous by doing just bullshit. Like here's one. This one, like this guy may have gotten a little better over the years, but he started off as straight shit. You remember Ice JJ Fish?
Oh yeah.
He started off just, you know, siren type singing, you know, just off key, just a total mess. And like he got famous because he was hilarious, you know, and he also, I guess, apparently had some kind of musical talent in editing, maybe? Is that really what he was good at?
I'm not entirely sure. I know he had. I know he did something. I don't know much about him. All I've heard is the shitty songs. To be honest, and I only heard those because y'all played them. Like I really don't. As much as I, you know, studied Hollywood and looked at Hollywood when I was a kid. Well, not really when I was a kid. When I was in college, I completely removed myself from the majority of that. I'd say the vast majority of that. Now I still watch these, you know, these movies on Netflix and Amazon Prime that people rave about and shit like that, just because I wanted to see where things are at nowadays, like what they're pushing nowadays. And sometimes it's hard to take a critical look at Hollywood because so many people have so many feelings about it.
Right.
So that's why I like having this outlet where we can actually speak our true thoughts about Hollywood, knowing that we'll never get there based on what the fuck we're saying.
Absolutely, man. Shoot. Here's another example of like a bad celebrity. And I wish Corin could get his mic working, so he's going to love this part. Danielle Bergoli.
Oh,
So.
Oh hell! Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I'm glad you came back in on this part. I knew you like this part.
Oh,
Danielle
hell.
Bergoli. So we're going on bad celebrities, and you
Yeah.
actually like Danielle Bergoli. Apparently,
I wouldn't say all that. No.
well, you troll me.
I mean, she's getting money, so I mean. Yeah.
Yes,
But yeah,
I mean,
but we've already had the conversation about what she's done to get that money, what she's done to become famous.
right.
yeah.
She went on Dr. Phil, and made a big scene, and that was like what 2 or 3 years ago, and
About 2, yeah.
yeah, like 2, and like people are online like talking shit on her, and then all of a sudden she's a rapper, and then all of a sudden she's making millions. So it's like
And
crazy.
re-signing deals and all kinds of other crazy shit.
Yeah, dude.
I saw a fucking YouTube video the other day, popped up on my recommended. Don't ask me how. Probably because it was pushed. But she was in Australia, dude. Had the entire crowd moving. Like, actually was moving the crowd like a real performer type shit. And that shit to me is crazy as fuck. Because this a chick who got famous for being, quote unquote ratchet and dogging her mom.
Right, exactly.
And think that was probably an act the whole fucking time.
Very well could have been. It might have been.
It was probably
And she just signed a deal for $13 million.
Yeah.
She signed another deal for $13 million.
Yeah.
$13 million.
Jeez Louise. Yeah. Well, see, that's why I stopped following quote unquote celebrities like that, because it's just I don't really want to see their success when they did it in such a grimy way. But that's just me. Maybe there's more good behind the scenes with her that I don't know.
I mean, with celebrities, you never really know the whole story, in my opinion. But I mean, I'm sure she's got moments where she's good. But at the end of the day, we can see literally how she got famous, and that is pure shit.
Absolutely. Hey, got a good one. I got a good one. We just talked about celebrities and their stories. Jaron and you, Corn, me and Jaron watched both John Wick movies back to back when I went home and visited Virginia. So let's go on to Keanu Reeves. Corn, you know a lot about him, and I actually forgot about his story. So can you reiterate that?
Yeah. He was real good friends with, I don't know if you guys know who Joaquin Phoenix is.
Yeah.
He was real good friends with him and Joaquin Phoenix's brother, River Phoenix, who died at an early age when they were all 3 kids, or at least like teenagers or whatever. And then he was done with that. Then he got married, and then his wife died as well. Man. And then and this.
Wow, that's crazy. So that's what happened in John Wick. I didn't. Oh, that just made it.
Yeah, it is. Damn.
I didn't even know that.
And this dude hasn't married or nothing ever since. But this dude still was able to persevere from that and have a great career and do all these different movies and still be successful and still be humble.
And do all his own stunts too. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the biggest one, but that's a big one.
He stays away from the whole social media thing. He stays away from. He doesn't do that many interviews and stuff like that. Like this dude, he's a real dude.
Yeah.
He's real.
Yeah, by the sound of that, definitely.
Yeah, he's always been one of my favorite actors too, because his movies are always about some real shit. Like there's always some hidden meaning or something, or either that or it's just a straight up good movie.
Yeah, after Bill and Ted. Ever since then, yeah. Ever since then, yeah.
It's a funny movie though.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So there are good celebrities out there that do stand for a positive. It's not many that truly have that I don't want to say good heart, but that are truly out there to give a message to people, a positive message to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
yep.
And to see things. What'd you say, Adam? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, name another example of one that you can think of, if there are any.
Mine are a couple of mine are wrestlers, but
That's
you
fine.
guys probably wouldn't know who they were, but I mean, there's quite a few people, man. I mean, even as dumb as it sounds, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy.
Oh no, that's I disagree completely.
Why?
Because I think he is a pedophile, and I think he sacrificed some of his artists to get where he's at in the industry.
Then give me an example.
Tupac.
How did he use him though?
I think Tupac. Look what happened with P. Diddy after Tupac died. He blew up. I could go pull up some articles real quick and read them off to you if you want.
True, but that's still like somewhat of a conspiracy. Like people still look at that.
You can say the same thing for Kanye West because look what happened to him after his mom died.
Oh shit, yeah, Kanye, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One could say he, because like I said, you got to do certain things to get into Hollywood, and you got to do certain other things to.
If you want to touch on Kanye, we can touch on Kanye too because I got a little bit to say about him too.
Yeah, I would love to get into Kanye. Hell yeah.
At first, because at first he had people thinking like, okay, he has a real mental disability, whatever. But now he's flaunting it around. I don't know if you've been updated or kept updated with him, Jaron, about what he's been doing with Greg and saying, oh, you're making fun of me because of my mental disability, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he's using that, but every time he comes out and does all this outlandish shit, he's trying to sell something right after.
I never really noticed that, but I mean, it makes sense.
Like that whole thing with TMZ, he had an album coming out.
Yeah.
And then with all this stuff happening recently, he's got a new pair of shoes coming out.
Jeez.
I mean,
that's funny. Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
That whole thing with Ellen that happened. He had an album coming out.
Yeah, he did have an album.
That's right. That.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, Kanye always seemed like a scumbag to me. I don't know about you.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a mental disability, but what I am saying is when you use that to promote something for your own gain instead of actually trying to help people out.
Yeah, but I will say one thing he does do to help people out is he'll go and listen to artists who don't have a name and bring them into the studio and record music and shit with them. I know he does that. Like I saw somewhere he went to Chicago and met up with some rappers or whatever and brought them into the studio or some shit like that. And so it's crazy though. Like there's evidence either way with these people. Most of the time it's like however you feel about situations, how you end up feeling, no matter what evidence is there, like one way or the other.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what they want to keep people doing with Hollywood. Hollywood, in the end of the day, is a fucking distraction.
Oh, dude. Yes.
And what better way to distract people is just to make you just get so mentally involved with somebody else's life.
But which plays to my point of what I was saying earlier, where that celebrities are robots now because they act how what society and what Hollywood per se wants them to act. Yeah. Like you can't say what's really on your mind. You have to keep. They're pretty much saying, "Shut up and sing. Shut up and play ball. Shut up and act. Don't say what you want to say. Don't say what's on your mind. Don't say what you're really thinking. Act this certain way, or you will be fired. Yep. You will lose your job. You will lose your career." And that's literally and in 2019, like I was saying, in 2019, I don't want to see that shit anymore. I want to see the people saying what they want to say, what they're really feeling. Because here's the thing. Because now there's people that are in our positions that where now normal people like us are starting to act like robots as well. Where we're censoring us. And now I'm not saying that everything should be uncensored, but you should censor yourself to a certain extent, but not censoring yourself to dumb shit. Right. And that's what we're trying to do.
I agree.
I want to censor you to dumb shit. And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm literally tired of seeing it. Like, I don't care how successful or quote unquote famous I would ever be. I'm not gonna censor every single thing I say. I'm not gonna sell my soul.
Right. Just for the sake of what? Keeping a sponsorship with somebody or keeping on good terms with somebody who wants to talk clean or et cetera, et cetera. It ends up just being kind of a mess and you're not sincere anymore. Yeah. Right? So man, you see it way too often. You see celebrities getting just hassled for shit they said years ago. So yeah, here's one. So Corn, we're Marvel fans. James Gunn, director of the Guardians movies, he gets just roasted and fucked for saying some admittedly kind of fucked up shit on his Twitter page, like 10 or 15 years ago. Yep. He was like tossing some gay jokes out there, and yeah, they weren't necessarily the coolest things to say at all. Maybe this guy wasn't right in the head at the time.
Well, what did you say?
Well, he was,
I don't know.
he was saying stuff about Holocaust too and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like Holocaust and like how you like little boys and shit. And yeah, it was pretty fucked. I'm not gonna lie. But then he goes out there and makes some of the best movies of all time. And I mean, yeah, what he said was pretty fucked up. But you know, the guy apologized, and like, but at the same time, he also probably should have covered his tracks a little better if he got hired by Disney. So it's a two-way street. I mean, like, 'cause you have to be careful what you say then once you're involved with a big fat mouse like that. But like, it ends up being a mess because you still have to sell your soul a little bit.
And that's the same shit I was iterating last time we were on the podcast about Kevin Hart.
Right, you were.
Because now they're saying, oh, well, should he be a part of the Oscars? Now he's trying to now there's a chance that he might host the Oscars still. And it's like, why? Why would you even want to? After all this bullshit, why would you even want to still do that?
That's a fat paycheck. That's why.
Yeah, so I found a couple of his tweets. So they're at this point 9 years and almost 365 days, so almost 10 years old. All these tweets.
Yeah. Okay.
From 2009 to like 2011. One of them is Expendables is so manly. I fucked the shit out of the pussy box. Oh wait, no, it says. Sorry, let me. Expendables is so manly. I fucked the shit out of the pussy boy next to me. is one of his one that he wrote. Another one, the one about rape, everybody's probably mad about is the best thing about being raped is when you're done being raped, and it's like, wow, this feels great, not being raped.
Jeez,
that was from February of 2009.
Yeah, so like I was saying, it's pretty raunchy stuff there, but I mean,
yeah, but here's the thing: he already apologized for years. And then somebody goes back, like I was saying earlier. I guess I was breaking out early. I was breaking up earlier, so you guys couldn't hear me. But why bury something, and then somebody comes back and digs it up years later? Like, it's not going to surprise me where people are going to start digging up dead people, and they already have started doing that with the whole thing. Why am I finding out? Why the fuck am I finding out at 25 years old that Martin Luther King cheated on his wife?
Yeah. But I mean, I knew that before, but I looked into Martin.
No. But I'm saying, why did I find out at 25? Why are people telling me that at 25 years old?
You know,
like, who the fuck cares? Who cares? He did shit way bigger, and I'm not saying that's not serious, because it is a serious thing. But we're talking about in the fucking 60s. Kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? What I found out last year. Jaron told me, and like a couple other people, I saw it like on the internet. It was lingering on the internet for a little bit too. Yeah. But why am I finding that out? 50 years almost after he died.
Yeah.
What was that shit they did about Morgan Freeman not too long ago?
Oh, he was just trying. He was spitting game at a chick. I can look that up too. Yeah. I remember hearing about that. I don't remember the full thing. Give me a moment.
All right, bro.
And you know what's funny about that? You know what's really funny about that? Is that now it's very uncomfortable. Like we say all the time, this is why we're so contemporary. Because it makes, I have to second guess now to go approach a chick. I have to look at my environment, sure that I approach it like the exact right way, or if not, you know what I mean? Like, I always have to second guess to even approach someone now. Period.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
Wait, sorry, say that again. I was looking at this Morgan Freeman stuff up. Say that one more time, if you don't mind.
The shit with the whole Morgan Freeman where he was just spitting game. Yeah. It makes me second guess to even approach a chick now. Like, every time I go to for a chick, I have to like second guess myself to be like, okay, I have to like look around my environment, look at where I'm at, be aware of my surroundings, just to go approach a chick to ask. You know what I mean? Just to give her my number or even ask her out.
Yeah, but I used to worry about that, but then I realized this about myself, which is I'm not going to be attracted, knowing what I like. I'm not going to be attracted to a chick that would then try and pull some shit like that on me. Not saying, I mean, the end of the day is girls, and you don't know what the hell they're going to do at any point in time.
The thing is, right. You never know.
That's what I'm saying. You never know, but I see what you're saying. It's tough. It's just not something I worry about.
I've never
worrying about that is not going to do you any good, honestly.
Because you're in a relationship.
And no, that's not because of that.
No,
I was single for 3 years before I was in a relationship, and
he was,
and
yeah.
how many girls was I hollering at?
Plenty, Jaron. Like, so
at the clubs, touching them while while everybody was at the club. Oh, forgive me for grabbing your waist and hollering something in your ear. You know what I'm saying?
Whispering sweet nothings. Yeah. Well, I'll counter that because I've never really worried about the environment when talking to a woman. At least not recently. Maybe I used to, but anymore, I feel like it's just more about your confidence and your sincerity with yourself. I mean, the media doesn't really bother me on a scale of I better be careful what I say here, especially if I'm not posting it somewhere. If I'm not putting it on a platform.
I would say just to add to that, I would say that they want you to feel that way about talking to the opposite sex, which is why they're doing it, which is why it's being brought to the forefront, and which is why it's being made this out of proportion, blown issue when this is nothing new.
Exactly.
In the fucking first place. Thank you.
Okay. Well, like, and it ends up scaring men, I feel.
Yeah. Masculinity is at fucking, gunpoint.
All-time low.
Point blank range is masculinity right now.
Right. I mean, I used to have issues with it too. I think I'm a lot better now. But you end up just second guessing everything you do, and then that's how guys end up getting friend zoned and shit. It is pretty bad. Like when the media does affect you that way, and it's very obvious it does.
Yeah, it's affecting chicks, which is in turn making it affect dudes. Yeah. That's the thing. Because at the end of the day, you can say whatever we want about women, being wishy-washy and this and that, but at the end of the day, whatever gets a woman's attention will get a man's attention eventually.
Because men want women. That's absolutely true.
But now what's getting women's attention is all this shit going on in Hollywood now.
Exactly.
Like you have to act like you have to act like, and it's not that it's happening now. It's just it's more and more and more what's the word? Exploitive. So where they have to be someone they're not.
Yep.
In order, and then that gets the girl's attention, which gets the guy's attention to say, "Oh, she likes this, so I'm gonna be this person,"
which is like the opposite of what the fuck you want to do.
Absolutely, yeah. Because conforming is just the worst thing to do for your personal growth. Like to change your
They don't care because you get the girl at the end of the day.
Yeah, so you see, this is where shitty people come from. This is where you got these like we talked about YouTube last time. You got these people who are just lying to themselves, saying just anything they can to get that quick buck, saying smash that like button and subscribe, saying shit like that. And you got people out there changing themselves because they want to get the chick, and it's stupid. Like instead of becoming the best version of yourself you can be, they want to be like what shit's telling them, and it is fucked. I mean, it really is.
And no, go ahead. What are you saying?
You finish. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and that's why the divorce rate is over 50% right now, because in time, your real person, your true colors will show. And when you turn into the dude when you turn into something different than what the chick got with you for, that's when it's over. That's exactly when that shit's over.
Behind closed doors, after a couple months or a few months, even that,
or a few years or something. Yep.
You're gonna start realizing, I don't feel like pretending to be this person anymore.
Yep.
Right.
And then it's like, you're not like this anymore. You used to be different. You used to be this. No, this is who I really am, bitch. Like this is me.
Yeah.
And now you see it happening everywhere now. It's like, so and so broke up, so and so did this, so and so did that. They're no longer together. Oh, this person changed. Blah blah blah. Well, no wonder, because society, Hollyweird wants you to be this set person.
Yep.
And that's where generic personalities come from.
If you came into Hollywood, like me as a person that watches TV, that watches movies, that listens to music and likes different kind of genres, I don't want to see, I do admit, I don't want to see just every person being like a normal person. Obviously, characters are in everything. It's not just movies, and not just in comics, and not just in wrestling. Characters are everywhere. Characters like that. That's what
character types and typecast type shit. Because a main character is pretty much always an attractive person. Like, you know, you got typecast sort of situations, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish, but what I'm saying is
Beyonce, the best album of all time.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is like, now it's cool to be weird. Now it's cool to say, oh, I have a mental disability, quote unquote. Now it's cool to say, you know, oh, I'm, you know, bipolar or whatever. So now I can just, you know, say this or do that, you know, because Hollywood is trying to push this whole thing. Like, if you really have mental disability, like, I do feel bad for people that actually have the real mental disability. But then now you have people out here saying, oh, yeah, I'm this and I'm that. Oh, yeah, you know, because Kanye is saying that. Or because so-and-so is saying that. Like, because Hollywood's pushing this whole agenda, man. I'm telling you, like, Hollywood, at the end of the day, is still the government.
Yes. Yes. I was going to get to that.
They're still pushing their agenda to where they want people to be so fucking crazy that 30 years from now, everyone's crazy.
Yep.
Everyone's taking medicine.
Yep.
It's going to be recommended and required that everyone takes certain pills throughout the day.
Yeah, that's crazy because I have taken pills before, and it's
like it's going to get to that point where people are going to be standing in line, pharmacies
for antidepressants.
Pharmacies.
Not even that, man. It could be some new type of pill nobody even heard of, man.
Yeah, anything.
Something that make you think you need.
Yeah. I mean, which is already the case with a lot of shit. Shit that you think you need. When all you really could do is switch up your diet and fix half of these fucking problems they got pills for.
Bro, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Because when I was going through my depressive episode, you know, taking antidepressants when I could just fucking fix up my habits and diet, like you said, and you feel better that way.
Yeah,
but I mean, relying on a substance, honestly, it just ends up feeding another bad habit, which is, you know, the thought process and like what's wrong with you. It you know, and some people can't help it. I understand that. Some people actually do have disorders, but others who are just, you know, looking
flaunting it around.
What now?
Flaunting it around.
Oh yeah, flaunting it around. They said farting around. Yeah, so like people who might, in my case, you know, spend too much time on YouTube and social media and stuff, and you start getting like lazy and just don't want to do anything, and you think, oh, I must be depressed. No, you're just wasting your time in your life. And people, you know, some people never see it. Some people just don't see it, so they think they're fucked up.
It's cool. It's cool to be depressed now. Like, look at, I'm wearing a My Chemical Romance shirt. We listened to the emo era. Like, we grew up in the emo.
The music was good.
And everyone, but now people are taking it so literal to where people are saying, oh, I'm depressed now. I'm this now. Like, it's not cool. Do you know what it really feels like to be depressed?
Yes, dude.
Like, it's not something you want to tell people. Like, all the time.
No.
Like, it's not something you want to talk about all the time.
Bro, I know exactly what you mean. The fake depressed crowd. Yeah, I see people doing it all the time. It's usually really popular people.
Because that's emo. Emo is short for emotional.
Like, I actually never knew that, but okay.
Yeah.
You like, it's not. But it was for that genre. You know what I mean? It's not like, you don't take it literal to where it's like, oh, it's cool to, like you were saying, like, it's cool to be depressed now. Like, but it's really not. And now people saying, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, because this movie star is saying that because their story came out. Now all these people, it's the same thing with the Me Too movement.
Yeah. Like,
people are saying, oh, this person, oh, she's a star, and she said she went through this. Oh, I did it too. Yeah, I went through this too. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, why is everybody clout chasing now?
Yeah, well, it's a way to make themselves take some of that fame for themselves, man. It ends up being just a fucked up process that involves, oh yeah, well, I'm sad, and this popular person's sad, so maybe if I tell them I'm sad now, after I looked at them, they'll pay attention to me. It's really fucked up.
And the thing is, all these stories now, you know, with specifically the Me Too movement, all these stories coming out now where a woman, all she has to do is feel like, you know, she made a bad decision, and she can go ahead and you know, be popular or whatever the case may, or, you know, not be popular, but her story can be heard. You know, the one night where she, you know, drunkenly had sex with a dude and barely remembers it, and then all of a sudden, oh, you know, now that I think about it, I think he did something against my will, and okay, let me go turn this in, you know, 18 years later and shit. Some cases 40, 50 years later.
Well, you know what that could be from is if the guy got famous.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and the opposite way around too. Like if if a man slept with a woman who became famous, then he's like, oh well, she's famous, so now something's wrong. Try to get their money. It's just being a greedy side thing. What?
Question: how serious will they? I'm not saying it to be sarcastic. I'm saying this with 120 million% seriousness. How serious will they take it if a man came out and said that a woman raped him, and a woman was famous?
What do you think, Jaron?
I give it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being super serious. I give it about a 4.
Yeah, but see,
3 or 4.
There's just the men can't win, and not in this day and age.
No.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the man committed suicide. The woman will probably win somehow.
And if you ask a feminist, or if you ask one of these women who follows this shit religiously, they'll say, "Well, men have been winning for centuries.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Men have been winning for It's like
equality. You're fighting for equality. Yeah. It's not about who's winning and who's.
No, it's not about equality.
Exactly.
It's not about equality anymore. We all know that.
Not. It's not. But when they say they're fighting for equality, to me
they mean women's rights.
That's what you should be fighting for, is equality. It's not. You guys have been winning for this long. Blah blah blah. It's not a fucking game. But guess who made it a fucking game?
The media, Hollywood, and then it gets carried away.
Big Brother, corrupt government, and Hollywood are hand in hand. They're the same fucking thing. They're run by the same fucking people.
The same chimpanzees up there in the seats. Yeah.
Yep. And good example of that. After World War II, Walt Disney and Nazi scientist Werner von Braun are good friends.
I heard Disney was
he came over, and we nabbed him up. Operation Paperclip, Project Paperclip, right after World War II. Got over 1,000 Nazi scientists. Some of which worked for NASA, Disney, entertainment industry. We got TV from Nazi Germany. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit is
Watch the Robot Chicken sketch of Walt Disney kidnapping the kid from Cuba. Apparently, that really happened.
Really?
Wouldn't be surprised.
You bring up Disney and then Hitler-esque type stuff. There's actually a comic series inspired by that. I guess that's what it is now. It's called Mouse, MAU 5. Maybe that's a band. There's some kind of thing that looks just like that must be inspired by it. I'll have to look it up. Let me actually look up Mouse.
There's like a DJ called Dead Mouse, DEADMAU 5, but I don't think that has anything to do with Disney per se.
Huh.
I'm not entirely sure.
Well, yeah, it's funny because you talk about Disney and the Holocaust, it kind of comes together a little too well.
Yeah,
I mean, not so much the Holocaust as just Nazi Germany in general.
Disney was the corrupt ass dude.
But what's funny is Werner von. I think Disney now is run by Jewish people.
Are they?
How ironic.
Yeah, and
because he was very he hated Jews. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a fucked up dude.
It sucks that when you see successful people that also happen to be pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that brings me back to something I talked about in our group chat. I follow some people on Instagram, and some people happen to be succeeding in life, so I follow them to see how they're doing it. And a lot of these people are really they seem like real pieces of shit because they're in all their stories they're saying, follow me here, look what I'm doing, I'm successful. They're just flexing. This guy's in Peru is saying wish you were me, things like that. He's like, I wonder what stickers I should put on the back of my laptop today, and just the most generic, just flexing douchebag shit I've ever seen. I'm just like, damn.
I mean, are you still subscribed to him though? Are you still following him?
Because I'm like,
working.
It isn't working on me, man. I put that shit there. No, because I put that shit there because I'm like, how in the world can people get away with acting like this and not being humble with what they have? That's why I'm still following this shit. It's not because I enjoy seeing it. I put it there because it's kind of like a direct negative inspiration. It makes me want to be better than that. It might sound weird, judging by your face, but yeah, I know it seems weird.
When you get famous, and not even famous, when you get money,
that's what you're.
A lot of it, you're. I'm not saying you're supposed to show it off all the time, but it's okay to show it off from time to time.
You just don't
literally. If your lifestyle is luxurious,
sure,
in its entirety, what else are you going to show people? Like if literally all you're doing is traveling and living large, I mean, yeah, you could maybe caption the pictures differently and shit.
That's what I mean. Do it in a way that.
But I mean,
I'd rather see that than see them take pictures with homeless people. Because I hate when people do that shit.
I haven't seen that before, but yeah, it's a little fucked up too.
I see it all the time when people take pictures when they go and help out a community or something. They bring the cameras, they bring the pictures and stuff like that. Like, what are you really doing it for if you're out here showing off the fact that you're giving to homeless people? You should do that in general.
Because it ends up being about publicity, even on just a small scale. Yeah. They want more attention. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't like seeing it the way they're doing it. Because like if you're successful, honestly, I don't feel like, and I'm speaking from not being there yet, I don't want to be parading it around and make people feel bad. You know, like that just isn't something I would do personally. And granted, not everybody's personality is the same, so I can't speak for everybody. It just seems like the way that some of these people do it is just not a very good-hearted way to do things. Man, that's all there is to it.
This is true.
Yeah. But I mean, you could argue that having, accumulating millions and millions and millions of dollars for yourself isn't a good way to do things either, depending on what you believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a whole different thing, or it's a, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Depending on what you believe, you can see certain things as good or bad or ugly, or whatever it's gonna be. You can say, yeah, okay, this guy's got $500 million. He's worth $500 million, but he's giving all of it away. He's doing this. He's doing that.
Yeah.
Or he's worth $500 million and he's got $400 million in savings and taking the other $100 million and just balling out with it, and hoarding it all for himself.
Well, I mean, and when you get that much money to yourself, people will judge you no matter what, because if they see it, that's why I feel like you should just be smart about the way you present it. Because there's always going to be some scumbag who is jealous of you, even if they don't know the story at all. It depends on how you're presenting yourself. If you're not showing it off, if you're not flexing on it, no one's going to know you're successful. Therefore, you probably won't gain many haters. And so not that is super important, getting haters and getting likers. But I mean, as somebody who is now beginning to study entrepreneurship and like online success, I just don't feel like I would be out there showing it off any chance I got, just for the sake of having people know that, this guy's high class now, high quality man, just because like,
I see what you're saying, but if that's what your life turns into,
then what else you expect?
Then what else you going to do?
Shit.
Fuck else you expect?
Maybe just do it sparingly then, because here's an example. Like when I went out to California, the start of last year, the first time ever, I was taking a lot of pictures because I was on vacation. It was the first time I ever experienced this, right? But like, if I lived there, then I wouldn't be doing it all the time, because that's just, it just seems kind of like unnecessary. Do it once for the chance to be like, oh shit, this is the first time I ever did this. Hell yeah.
I mean, I could see that if you were taking pictures of buildings and shit, but if it was like the scenery and the landscape, California's a beautiful state.
It is.
So, I mean, there's probably endless shit you could take pictures of. I just went down, I live, 30 minutes from National Park. I was just there taking pictures on Sunday, and I've seen the shit 10, 20, 30 times.
That's cool.
Hiked it, multiple times and still taking pictures. So it's just like, I mean, I feel like if it's, I don't know, I feel like that's a bad example.
Yeah.
Living somewhere and then, I'll just not take pictures. I mean, dude, if it's a pretty state you live in, you're going to be taking pictures.
Yeah.
Sure, but see, you're also not promoting it on any kind of media, and you're also not making sure yourself is.
Oh well, yeah, because I'm on social media.
Yeah,
but you better be damn sure my girlfriend be putting them shits on social media because she uses it, because that's her life.
Well,
not saying social media is her life, but I'm saying that she puts her life on social media, as do 90% of Americans, and that's part of her life. So that's what's going to be on social media.
Yeah,
it's those pictures.
Well, I didn't mean to get off track to the point where I felt like I wasn't trying to tell somebody to put their life up. I just mean, like, if you could become so successful and you just take it the wrong way, you kind of wouldn't understand until you saw it, what I'm talking about, man.
No, I mean, I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
I'm not saying
I do.
Don't. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying don't promote your life, because everyone wants to be happy and promote what they're doing. I'm saying don't be scummy about it. Don't like make it sound like you're talking mightier than thou.
Yeah. But I do have a question though.
Okay.
Could there be a solution to that? To the way people are portrayed on social media.
Well, go ahead.
Because as much as, and the thing that got me is like, with, I keep using these references, but I don't think y'all know who these people are. But where there's this rapper, female rapper, Cardi B, who was married to another rapper from Migos, and they got divorced, and the whole thing went on social media. Like every step of it is on social media.
Yep. Where
they divorced because he got caught cheating with like 2 chicks or something like that, and 2 younger chicks, by the way. And he shows up to her concert, right in the middle of her concert, and tries to apologize to her. But when I watched the video, it was a half-assed apology. He called her bruh. Like, no, like, I'm not even lying, dude.
Man.
He said, he's like, bruh, I love you. Bruh, I'm sorry. What the fuck kind of apology? You don't even.
He
like,
said, bruh.
I'm like, dude, she was your wife. Why would you call her bruh?
But that's the thing, man. He probably don't respect himself.
Hold on, let me finish. This happened, right? People are ridiculing him and her for letting him do that, but it really wasn't her. She didn't know that this shit was gonna happen. He shows up and does this, and now all the feminazis come out and are like, "Oh, that's creepy, that's stalking, that's harassment," because he showed up to her place of work, apologized for what he did. That's where I'm kind of on the fence about it, because I'm just like,
I mean, he might have had good intentions.
Yeah, his intention was good, but at the same time, his wording was shitty, first of all. Yeah. Second of all, I mean, what he did was shitty, and to think that she wasn't going to find out, like, when you put that shit on social media, that you're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, he showed up. He did. He showed up to her concert. Yeah. Without her knowing, and people are comparing it to, like, if he showed up, like, if a man shows up to a woman's office where she works at and apologizes to her and sends her flowers at her job and stuff like that, and are saying that's harassment, it's up to the chick whether that's really stalking or not.
Yeah, and I'll take it one step further. If that was portrayed in a movie, chicks would be wanting men to do that to them in real life.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
dude, that's probably why he fucking thought it would work.
Dude, perfect example, 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, 50 Shades of Grey, the dude, whoever the fucking guy's name is, the dude was stalking her, creepy as shit.
Yeah, but you ended up liking that because of his weirdness.
Yep.
And his fetish nature, yeah.
And how many women were praising that movie and that book for years?
Many.
And they still do.
And it, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm reading too much into it because
you're not.
No, you're right.
Touching on race, like a black dude shows up to his ex-wife's place, and then now he's a stalker.
Yeah, I don't think it's race. I think it's just.
I'm probably reading too much into it. But when this shit happens, and then the women come out and say, "Oh, that's stalking, all this and all that," but then when Nicholas Sparks comes out with another book where the dude does the exact same thing, if not more, which he does more than that, he's considered, "Oh, that's the love I want. That's the romance I want."
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the whole Joker Harley Quinn thing.
Yeah, we've gone over that before.
Yeah, we've gone over that. Joker beat the shit out of Harley Quinn.
Joker beats Harley, and then there's women on there saying, "I want to love like Joker and Harley." Like shut the hell up. No, you don't. It's because it's a society. What's the word? Conformity that's being pushed. Like they see it in the media, so they think, "Oh, it must be what I want." You know, because that's how Hollywood and the media works. They push what they think you want, and people change themselves to make it so that is what they want.
No, they push what they want you to want, not what they think you will want. Because they got people worked out to a T. Well, they know what'll get people following. They know what'll get people's minds stuck on certain issues and certain things at certain times. They've been doing it our entire lives.
Yeah,
so it's not what they think you want; it's what they want you to think.
Just because you go from someone. And like you touched on earlier with Danielle Bergala, you go with someone that literally went on Dr. Phil,
right,
for doing and saying stupid shit, became a meme.
Pure stupidity.
Yeah. A big meme, yeah.
Became a meme. Because of that meme, became famous.
Right.
After becoming famous and having and garnering an Instagram and getting millions of followers because of She's a Meme, because of the fact that she's a meme, then becoming a rapper, singer.
Yep. Yeah, if it weren't for social media, that would not even have been a thing.
Oh, she would have been forgotten about a couple weeks later. Yeah.
She wouldn't have been. Yeah, easily. So, Corin, can you go back to your question that you asked? You said you had a question. What could solve or something about solving something?
Yeah. So, is there anything that can solve this? Is there anything to where we can go? I don't want to say go back, but to where we can eliminate making stupid people famous. Where we can eliminate having.
I got one.
All of this monitoring, because we know for a fact it's not going to go away. But since, we're doing our own podcast or whatever, so, I just figured I'd ask.
I got one.
Would we even have any solutions for this?
Yeah.
Or any resolving?
It's a very unpopular one. Jaron will like it. Get rid of social media. Or make it so that the people who have it have to take an IQ test. Have to. Like,
I don't think rules is the answer personally, but I do like getting rid of social media.
Like, I said this is a joke like a year or so ago about IQ test for social media sort of stuff, because I feel like it would save a lot of trouble and would get a lot of shit like out of people's faces.
Man, but IQ doesn't necessarily make you a good person either.
Well, true. Yeah,
because I know a lot of smart assholes.
Yeah, IQ has actually I learned this in psychology class. IQ test is actually not 100% accurate either.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that as well. I would say my answer would be, aside from getting rid of social media, people learning to think for themselves would be probably the ultimate.
That's not going to happen.
And I know getting rid of social media is never going to happen. But I just figured,
we're talking things that would happen, whether it happen or not. Like, people thinking for themselves, having self-respect, and respecting other people. Those three things alone would get rid of, fucking 90% of the problems in this fucking world.
I'll tell you what. Why that last one couldn't happen, thinking for themselves, because people think how they're raised. So in order for someone to think for themselves and have the best mindset possible, they have to be raised by the people who think the same way. Their parents, their grandparents, their generations have to all be on the same page, or else you're going to be fucked up in some way or another. It doesn't matter, like, if you chose it or not. The way you're raised impacts you a lot, man. And sometimes people go against it, but sometimes people will go right with the flow. And Corin, you know that very well. You do too, Jaron.
Yeah.
Some people just don't care. They'll just do exactly what they've been told their whole lives.
Yep.
Yeah. But if you're raised to not think freely and to not come to a smart decision about things, a non derogatory way about people and about life and about yourself, then you're not gonna it's not you can go with the flow with how you're raised at that point, because you were arguably raised properly. But if you're raised eating ramen noodles and fucking Cocoa Puffs, getting yelled at, mom got 3 jobs, you got 2 sisters that you got to take care of, you the man in the house and you 10 years old and shit, like,
oh damn,
you're gonna think a certain kind of way too.
Yeah.
You don't have time to be raised properly, and you don't have 2 parents in the household to even raise you properly.
And then once you get famous, they're telling
it's just going to spit that out everywhere.
Very true.
Even the people who were raised properly, it'll fuck them up. What do you think about all these rich white kids with 2 parents and grew up and parents want nothing for them to, be quote unquote successful, and they got all this money and shit? These kids go out here and quote unquote raping these girls and shit and listening to thug music and crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
That becomes probably raised differently. You know what I'm saying?
They were, and that ends up being just a part of where they just want to rebel against everything they've ever known.
But that was the other half of what you were saying. Is why I said that.
That makes sense. A lot of people are just fucked up, man. A lot of people are actually psychos. I mean, and some of that comes from, mental disorders. What? What's funny?
A lot of people are fucked up, man. A lot of people are actually psychos.
Well, I mean, you take the mental disorder part out of it for a second. Some people are actually fucked up to the point where they feel that their lives are too perfect, so they want to just become monsters.
Yeah, you got to find a balance. It's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I thought about the other day. I was like, it's already hard enough, because the way they've made it, and I say all the time, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but from what I see, at least here in the country, it's already hard enough to survive. We were not born, and if you're Christian, you know, we're not born into this world to survive.
No.
They made it that way.
Exactly.
Over the past few thousand, whatever years, or even the past few hundred years, they've made it to where it's already hard enough to live in this world.
Yep.
We're no longer born into this world to make a difference. We are born in this world to follow order, do what we're told, and survive.
Yep, very true.
So when people get famous for thinking for themselves, when people make money for thinking for themselves, for thinking outside the box, for not following order, for coming up with something in their own mind, in their own heart, and being themselves.
Right.
Once you make a certain amount of money or you gain a certain amount of fame, they're coming for your ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
And
you can no longer think for yourself. You can no longer be who you were meant to be. You can no longer. They shut that down. They shut that shit down real quick.
Yep. Look, we're gonna need you to bend over, spread your cheeks, whether that be literally or figuratively. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. You bring up a great point about why I moved to Florida to begin with. Why I moved out of my comfort zone. Because, like, you know, growing up the way I grew up, I felt things were always going to be the same if I lived where I was, and I did the same thing I always did. So I'm trying to honestly build up myself to the point where I can work for myself and do stuff that people I know never did. You know, and a lot of that comes from not following, you know, Hollywood's shit, even if you see it. You know, it's crazy because you can't be completely unique. You're always going to be like something. But
yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, that's
right, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very rare you're ever going to find anything original.
Dude, perfect example again. I was just playing the game Prototype. You guys have heard of it. It's pretty old. Because my main comic character has a lot of similarities to the main character in that. So I literally got this game to study it and make sure I can change things to make it not so much like this character. Because I've known for years my guy is a lot like him. So I want to study the game to make sure that I can change some things. So when it comes to the point where I'm successful enough that people actually know who my characters are, they don't say, oh, this guy's a ripoff of Prototype. I don't want that. I've never wanted something like that. Nobody wants that, you know? Yeah, so it's important to study the media that exists, too, to not repeat it.
Yeah. And like another form of control is social media, which is why it's not going anywhere. Yeah. It's always gonna be there to stay. It's only gonna enhance more to where people are gonna be able to have little. I think, like I've already said, I always think way too into things, and I always think way into the future. Where I think like people are gonna have these little eye things where it's just gonna record your day, every single thing you do. All you gotta do is wake up, hit record. You don't have to record. You just wake up.
Yeah.
Put it on, go out and do your day, and people can sit there and watch your life. Like it's a fucking television show.
Yep.
Damn.
Or you can go back and watch your own life like it's a television show. Like you can't live in the moment anymore, and you can't experience something and have a memory. You can always go back to it, and I think that fucks a lot of people up.
Yep.
You know,
because you think people are so in depth. Us as fans, as anybody. Jaron, I don't know if you're a fan of anybody, but like me and Adam, like, we're fans of someone. At least one person you're a fan of, or someone you look up to.
Oh, sure.
You see so much of their life daily on anything. You can just Google them and see every single thing about their life, and it's just like they make it so accessible. And I think that's bad, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's really bad.
It can be good and bad, but I think it depends on like the mindset of the person who's watching.
True.
You know, because you can usually be like, all right, I'm going to do exactly what that person does. Fuck whatever I think I'm capable of. I'm doing what they did because they got this and this and that. Or you could be like, all right, that's cool. They started their own business. They made the right moves. They got some money. They're trying to show some people how to do the same thing. I can get behind that. You know, I can take some of these steps and do with them what I personally would do with it. And make it my own thing. You know, so there's multiple ways you can go about it. It just depends on the person who's taking in the stuff, which is Hollyweird shit. Like I see a lot of the shit. I'm on YouTube. I mean, I don't have any Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or none of that shit. So I don't see it like that. But I see enough of it on YouTube to where I can look at it and discern and make my own decision and not feel a certain type of way because that's what is being pushed to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of people who I wouldn't think would have fucked up. It's got them fucked up.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Like it's got some people I thought was real fucking solid. They looking a little watery. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, because the government is doing that whole magic trick or that little psychic. What do they call it?
Oh, the hypnosis.
Yeah, hypnosis or
Mind
whatever.
control. Look up MK Ultra mind control, man. That shit's real.
Yeah, where they put the finger in front of your face and
basically
they tell you to just count sheep or whatever, and
right.
People you would least expect. And it took me going into the army to have the mindset I have now.
Yeah.
Because going to the army, I was like, oh yeah, America, yeah,
I told your ass.
Right on.
I'm glad you came out,
right on. and then I got, dude, I was a year in, and I was like, oh.
Well, it taught you something.
The very small handful of people that told me to watch how specifically like the government operates and how people operate. Yeah. It's crazy. It's a mind control game. It's a mind fuck.
Yeah,
it really is. And I'm glad that's literally the only reason why I'm glad I went through the whole army thing, because I can see now.
Yeah, you just needed that firsthand experience.
How like from people in power, from the little bit of power you give someone. Like, you have a lot of people in there, and it's just like policemen. I'm not saying all policemen. I mean, my dad's a retired policeman, but so I'm not talking about every fucking policeman, but a lot of policemen are the guys that didn't fit in school.
Yep.
And I'm one of the people that didn't fit in school, but like,
oh yeah,
a lot of people that didn't fit in, a lot of people that were bullied, and now they have this little bit of power, and guess what they're gonna fucking do with it? They're gonna find under them. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you think it's bad now, it's only gonna get worse. I mean, think about it. Give somebody a little bit of power. Someone who's never had power.
Yeah, very true.
Over themselves. Like someone who has never been able to have power over themselves and to feel confident by themselves. Give them a title and look at how they get a little bit of confidence and then they become cocky.
That can happen to anybody, man.
It can, but he's saying specifically people who have never harnessed their own power within themselves.
Yeah. People who have never been like, okay, I am somebody.
Yeah.
And then you like, if you can look into yourself, like I said before, getting into a relationship, it took me 23 years to realize I need to be happy by myself before I'm in a relationship.
Oh yeah.
And because I believe a woman or a significant other should make a person feel happier, not
happy. Yeah, very true.
And it's the same thing when it comes to power. It's like you need to know you're somebody before you get power. You need to know that you are worth something before someone else tells you that you're worth something.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier about being humble, man. About realizing your worth and not flexing. When you have success.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows what a person you are. Like.
Because a lot of these people out here that are making money right now did not have self-worth before someone came and told them, hey, you're worth something. You mean, like, and I'm not saying like to shrug off every person that tells you you're worth something. You should already know you're worth something.
Exactly.
Before someone tells you, oh, you're bigger than this. Like in the back of your head, like you say thank you, whatever, but in the back of your head you'd be like, yeah, motherfucker, I know that.
Exactly. And I mean that once again goes back to what Adam was saying about how you grew up, how you were raised. Because if you were raised, if you literally from your entire time on this earth, nobody's ever told you that you were worth something. Nobody's ever, instilled confidence in you. Because we all have to be molded from something.
True.
If nobody's ever put that in you, and you don't have the ability to find that out yourself, and then say, oh, hey, you're now an officer in the military, or
right.
you're now manager of this 150 person company. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna act in that position?
Yeah.
Very true.
It's very true. Facts.
Super facts.
Facts.
Super facts.
Big facts.
Because you see it.
Oh wait, what?
Because you see it everywhere. You see it everywhere where someone has a little bit of worth and then they're running with it.
Agree.
And
world now, man.
And as much as I would totally be down with getting rid of social, like me, I have social media for my own personal reasons, for like the career that I want to go into. That's the only reason why I have it. If I didn't, and I only have one now. I have Twitter, but I don't post anything on there. I just, I do it for information, especially for this podcast. That's where I go to. That's where everyone goes to post all their stupid shit.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, honestly, making a Twitter. I like to be writing based. I have a friend from college who keeps on recommending me to do that because she's actually blown up on there. So I'm working on a Twitter too. But it's going to be professional use, of course, because that's the only reason I would need social media at this point is for promoting something I made. Like that's what I'm trying to make my Instagram and strictly art now because that's what I should have been doing anyway with it. So I feel like that's what people who are trying to get their lives together should do with their social media. They should use them the way that is going to get them exposure, like and not like attention exposure. I'm talking about like business exposure,
Yeah, because now jobs are looking at your Facebook now. Jobs getting these codes now where Mark Zuckerberg just like Hollywood. Mark Zuckerberg and the government are hand in hand.
Yep.
So
jobs picked his ass out of college and said, "Look, we're gonna use this."
Yeah. So you go and you apply for a certain job, like a certain top tier job, or top notch job.
Very nice.
Intended.
Yeah, Jared's company, where he works for a company called Top Notch. So that's the joke.
Yeah. But you go apply for that job. They can get I just never learned this like maybe a year or two ago. They can get this code to where they can look up every profile you've ever had on every social media, especially and pull up your pictures, your posts, all the other shit. But my question is like, just don't pull up anything from like when you're 17 years old. You're not the same person you are at 27.
No, not even.
So it's like it's getting to that point to where they can ridicule you, they can not hire you, they can fire you, they can take you out of a position of power. Or as a matter of fact, I'll go a step even further, where you're at a company. Let's say you're at a company, right? And you start at an entry level position. You work your way up. You make it to like an entry level position, right? And let's say you piss off the wrong person, or someone disagrees with you. They feel like you shouldn't be in that position of power, or that position in general. They can go pull up your shit from like 10 years ago, pull it up and say you did this, or you said this. Your picture has this on it. You're out of there. Depending on what job it is, you're out of there.
Yep, they can pull up your text messages and see what you really, say between your friends and everything else, man. It's wild. Now, that would probably only be if you're trying to get some high level government job at this point. Like I doubt if you're trying to be,
but in the future, it's gonna.
In the future, that's going to be for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the next 20 years or less. That's gonna be for everything. But man, it's wild, man. I was gonna bring up something about Hollywood one more time. Not one more time, but pose a question. All right, well let's talk about some good things that Hollywood has done. All right. You guys have any good thing, anything, any way that Hollywood has affected you like positively?
Well, having so much social media just impact, it doesn't really make me different, but I do just notice how, movies work. Movies can impact things. You got all my childhood, like, I can't even speak. Hold up. Not dreams. I guess that works too, but just interest.
One hell of a drug.
It sure is. I've been snorting it hard. So, I see comic book characters coming to life and shit. And, and it ends up just being like, wow, like this shit can really happen, like dreams can easily come true if you have people, just actors acting out just timeless stories, and things like that. So seeing the cinematic universe come to life is just it's great. And, you know, it's important to me to have role models. And you guys, I'm sure, feel the same way. You know, it ends up being just kind of about, you know, you're a kid and you don't think this kind of shit is actually going to be in front of your face. People are making careers out of doing exactly what you grew up watching and reading, you know, and it's amazing because, like,
yeah,
I never would have thought that would happen. I never would have thought that I'd be watching movies of these characters in books, because that gives me inspiration to do it myself. You know, you guys know I want to make comic books into a franchise and voice act and do all this other stuff that people are doing right in front of me. It's very inspiring. You know, so when you see people doing it, whether they're big superstars or just like average Joes who are just now up and comers, it's inspiring because it shows you that anybody can do it. They were all just nobodies just like us. You know, anybody can do it. Anybody can get a start somewhere. Just like we're starting a podcast, you know, like, that's how success is born. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good positive quality.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, in terms of stories and like when you see people's stories and how they did become successful and how they went from nothing to a lot, you know, I do like, not all the stories, but I like some of those stories where they don't really sell their soul, at least just yet. Yet.
Yeah.
Soul to become successful. I do like those stories. So, I mean, there are positive stories about how people came from, and like the story Clint always tells me about Steve Harvey. Clint never stops talking about how Steve Harvey came famous, like where he was like Steve Harvey slept in his car and you know, took him years. I mean, I'm like, that's the story of every wrestler before 2005.
Right.
Yeah. Their cars, sleeping in their pants, going to wrestle and working to make $20 a show and stuff like that. Like,
that's true.
I mean, everyone has that. Not, I don't want to say everyone, because everyone doesn't have that story, but back then, everyone had that story where like you had to go through the struggle, and now you don't have to go through the struggle. You can be some rich kid off the street, make a stupid video, and you're popping like that. Right. Look at the Paul. What are the Pauls? The Paul brothers.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true. Very true.
Look at
No, go ahead.
Damn neck and long neck or whatever the name is.
Wide neck and long neck.
Oh yeah, wide neck and long neck.
That's another example. That's an example of memes getting you famous, and then you start making music somehow. Like that's the next fucking step automatically.
Yeah, for some reason.
Like what?
And
then Christian, they've had $1 million deals too.
I'm all for getting roasted. I am. And, yeah, like we roast each other all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely, every day. Yeah.
But when you're taking like a physical, I'm not saying that it's a disability, but when you take like your physical attributes and turn it and people are making fun of you for your physical attributes and you're getting rich, all that. I mean, if they're fine with it, I guess. But at the same time, like what kind of?
Oh, like that one wrestler, Corn. Ellsworth.
Oh, James Ellsworth.
People are literally just roasting this guy because he looks funny, but he's famous
he
now.
Doesn't have a chin, and so and I mean he made a lot of money and he went along with it. I mean, if he's perfectly fine with it, that's good, I guess.
I think that'd be kind of fucked up to live by, though. Like, just to know that you're famous based on ridicule. I think that's kind of a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, like I would hate to see their life at the end of the day, every day. Yeah. When they go home and they're sitting at home by themselves, or with their family, and they're like, "Yeah, you're sitting in a big house. Yeah, you provide." I mean, I guess when you have a family, it's different. When you have a family, you got to provide for them any way you can, I guess. But at the same time, it's like there's no way you can be happy at the end of the day when you're sitting at the edge of the bed thinking like, these people are making fun of me, although I made money off of it. Like, you become what do you call it? Like a dance animal or like a zoo animal, kind of.
Oh, like a circus monkey.
Yeah. Like I saw a video the other day on Instagram where is this the world's fattest baby back in like 1935 or 30 something. It was like back in the 1930s.
Fuck.
The world's fattest baby. And what they did was they were, in order to make the baby, like the baby was like 180 pounds or some shit, or like 200, or something like that. It was fat as shit. But in order to get it to stand up and walk, they put chocolate over its head and they're walking. Wow. Yeah, this is the story. You can find it on YouTube. They held the chocolate, and it's like a little barrier, just like a fucking zoo, a barrier, and they're up in the barrier, and they're holding the chocolate and walking across with it, so that the baby can get up and walk.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, cameras on it and all. This is fucking 1930s.
Damn, man.
I didn't even know people even weighed more than 180 pounds on third. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, people weren't as fat back then.
No, and there wasn't as many, cancer and all that other shit either.
And there also wasn't like a big is beautiful movement back then either. People who were fat were told, "Hey, lose that damn weight, or you're gonna die." That's how it is.
Yeah, well, being unhealthy is popular, and I guess
bro, it is now.
Being fat has turned into body positivity.
That's another thing Hollywood pushes.
Shit positive about the inside of your body.
Not at all, man. You're a walking time bomb. You're like a stick of dynamite. And it sucks because that's another thing Hollywood pushes. They push body positivity when fat is still fat. You're still gonna like get sick easier. You're still gonna be like more unhappy because people are judging you all the time. So you might as well just get yourself, back to good weight, because like you're gonna be happier at the end of the day, and like it doesn't matter what people say, what excuse they give, because they will be happier if they just lost that weight. That's all there is to it. You can spray a piece of shit in perfume all you want, it's still shit. If you just lost, what the problem is, that is the only way to really cure the problem.
So to the listeners, basically what Adam's saying are fat people are shit. Not my words, Adam.
I did not say that. No, I don't. I'm
totally kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
That can apply to anything besides fat people too. That can apply
to. I've been fat my whole life, man. It took me to lose 100 pounds to get that shit up.
There you go, Jaron.
I was body positive about getting rid of that body. I was positive about getting rid of that body.
That's right. That's good. That's good, bro. That's good.
Of course, this was like 6 years ago. I mean, I ain't gained it all back, obviously, but
I'm just saying people are gonna be happier if they're taking care of themselves. That's all there's to it.
That's another key. That's another key in terms of being famous and getting other people famous is exploitation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But unfortunately, it's always been like that. So that's definitely not going anywhere.
And what makes me sick is Hollywood promotes the worst things that people can do to themselves and to other people. That's what is pushed the most.
Well,
I would say the most, as far as what really hits people and what people really end up talking about at the end of the day is negative shit. All you gotta do is turn the news on, and there's like one positive story about somebody being saved from some fucking, somebody fell in a river and somebody saved them.
Yeah.
And then it's like negative.
You know what?
It sells more.
You know what? Riddle me this, Jaron. How, if a newscast, like if a news channel put out nothing but positive shit, how many views do you think it would get after a week?
No, I understand that. It wouldn't get many because people would get tired of shit being, I guess, positive. People like drama.
People love drama. Yeah, shit sells.
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. It's just like they want the views. That's all they care about, which is sickening.
Yeah. And I think it's even worse that negative shit happening is what attracts people, is what gets people's attention. Not positivity, not progression. You know what I'm saying? Just straight negative bullshit.
Yeah, they want something bad to spice up their shitty lives.
Yeah.
It ends up being just kind of like a domino effect. You want to see shit because you're used to living in shit. So you're like, oh damn, let me see.
They got it worse than me. Shit, I don't feel so bad.
Let me see who's more miserable. Let me see who's more miserable than me today. Because when you see positivity all the time, you probably some of these people end up feeling worse about themselves. So they want to see bad stuff happen. And
that's a personal problem though.
Well, yeah, but nobody's gonna say that out loud. Nobody's gonna admit that shit.
Yeah, a lot of people have that personal problem.
Yeah.
I know. I've been there. I know what it's like, dude. But it's better to overcome that problem than to just live with it your whole life.
A bunch of positive shit, and you think to yourself, "Oh man, fuck." Like I can see if you're saying, "Oh man, what the fuck am I doing in my life? I should probably do something better." But if you're just saying, "Oh fuck," I need somebody doing worse than me. That's a personal
fucking issue.
That is an issue. Yeah, it is. Some people think like that, dude. And some don't ever come to terms with it and live like that their entire lives. So
yeah,
I said that earlier.
And like I would have loved to done this podcast like around a whole bunch of positive stuff, but this is why we do this podcast, because there's so much negative shit out there.
Well, yeah, and bro, last time was positive, so I mean, we gotta do a little bit of a half and half, you know.
I'm saying I don't care about the whole half, and I'm saying like that's why I feel like that's why we do this, to vent about all the negative shit that's going on.
I mean,
to confront the problems.
Oh, yeah, and it's good to do that. It's good to see sides to everything. You know, it's good to take on topics like this that involve ranting. It's also good to you know, look at the good shit too. You know, that's kind of why we started it. So I mean,
yeah, I mean,
hey guys, what's going on? Temporary